Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Raptor and General Ledger. His name is Chip Talon Raptor, General Ledger. He's an accountant. I'm not going to lie, I didn't want this figure made. I didn't like Raptor. There's my original Raptor, along with his Raptor right there. I didn't care for them. He's actually one figure I don't display, but I had a feeling that if they did this figure, they were really going to go with a modern take on it, just like in the Spider-Man movies they did with Vulture. And, well, I'm happy to say they did. And it's not just Vulture, it's also Falcon from the Marvel Universe. And when I saw this, I was like, that looks badass. And we're going to open him up and see. I haven't heard a bad thing about this guy yet. So anyway, here is everything that he does. Everything he comes with. He is a deluxe figure, $35. So you can see everything. He's got the big backpack. He's got some claws. He's got the bird, General Ledger. On the side, you see his artwork. Now, I got to say, looking at this quickly, it kind of gives me more of a vibe of his original look. Maybe that's what they were going for. Obviously, the back, it's not. Here you have his somewhat file card and the QR code that leads you to hell. I only say that because one person laughed about it. So now I hope a few people get a kick out of it. Here's the back of it, and you have a whole bunch of stuff, including some trouble bubbles from the photography and him flying. So, and I do have a Hasbro flight stand. It's way over here. Right over here. How about that? And we'll look at that, see how that works, see how he looks like in flight. So anyway, let's get into this because frankly, no one wants to look at me. They want to look at this thing. So anyway, before we do, if you like G.I. Joe content, you like this type of stuff, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. Now let's get to this. All right, so we got this guy out of his plastic prison, and we're going to look at him and see how well he compares to the original. Now, I've said this before. There are so many things I never realized in the O-ring figures until I started reviewing the little details, and I find stuff all the time, including when I quickly looked at this one the other day. So anyway, let's look at the accessories this guy comes with. So he comes with two different tri-claws. Again, everyone's going to say Wolverine, and again, something very similar. And I believe this came with one of the ninjas. I want to say Kamakura, or there was another recent one, just completely blanking. It's pliable, it moves, but they seem to be fairly straight, which is good. All right, so you got this little detail on it, just a little bit of riveting there, and then his hand's going to kind of hold on to it. And we'll see how that looks, see if it actually stays straight. We got two of them, and again, they are staying straight, which is more than I can say for most of the Wolverine figures that, at least that I've seen or gotten, that the claws seem to be bent and out of place. We got this pistol that we have seen before. We got a silver slide on it, some nice detail, port for blast effects. All right, I really do like this, and it's nice and straight. And the bending test is that this is pretty solid. It feels actually really good. But I do like this detail, and again, just a silver slide adds so much to it. Every time you hit it with paint, we understand it costs a little money. Here we have the knife. Not the worst knife that I've seen. It's not too thick. Again, everyone I think would like it to be a little bit thinner here, like an actual blade, but I can deal with this. Some of them are just like big flat sticks. You got your silver blade on it. You got your nice looking handle, and it has flex to it, but it's not soft and rubbery. So Lenny had talked that they were going to be moving into a different, using a different plastic, and it sounds like they actually have. All right, here's General Ledger. Now, we have been lucky with the majority of our animal companions, and I can say, to give him a name, I'm not sure if you really needed to because he has no articulation. All right, so I couldn't stop looking at this every time they showed it. And if anyone has Spirit And they've seen when Freedom's head falls off, he just has this little round peg. And I kept thinking that his head wasn't on, that it was the peg, because he has this little his little ponytail. And I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me in the comments. But they actually put blinders on them. I'm assuming so they don't fly away. If I'm wrong, please let me know. He doesn't move at all. He's kind of got a peg down here that's kind of made to look like a claw that's hanging down. Again, nice little paint. It looks good. You get two tones here, so the tail feathers are just a different shade of brown. I think the paint looks good. I think this looks good to just kind of be sitting there on a desk or on his hand. But again, when you do have something like Freedom, maybe we get greedy and we're like, why can't we get a Raptor that can fly? You know, open his wings and have some articulation. But let's be honest, the money went to this. And before anyone says, what are you talking about the money? They have budgets. It is a $1 billion company, not a $1 billion brand. So here is the wings. And I talked about it earlier. This is really more like what we have with Falcon from Marvel during the Marvel MCU and the new Vulture. So quickly we'll take a look at this. I'm going to say it goes this way. All right. You have CM2. I'm not sure what that means. Rip wing, so it does have a name. You got this nice paint right in here. Obviously, you can see all the different paints, and none of it looks bad. Clearly, these are jet engines, something to do to help propel it. And it looks like you have a little bit of backblast here, just some wear on it. So it does give it a little bit of a look to it. All right. All the design in here, I feel like they did a really good job. And all the little paint makes it just pop. All right. On the inside, there's only one peg. Now, this does worry me because we saw what they did with not heavy metal. Is it heavy metal? You know who I'm talking about. The Iron Grenadier. I can't think of his name. You know, they put extra onto his backpack so he wouldn't fall over. Now, I haven't heard anyone complain about this, so we'll take a look. It has the rotaries, the propellers to help kind of bring him up. There's I guess there's not big exhaust here. I'm sure someone's going to complain and say it's not realistic. Again, it's a toy. All right. This does fold out to be fairly large. I'm going to set that right there. And I have a tape measure right here. And so if anyone is wondering, this thing is going to span from end to end 16.5 inches. That is large, but it's able to collapse. So you're going to be able to fit them onto your shelves. So looking at that, I think that looks good. It can move back here. The wings can fold in this way. They can go up. They can go down. So you're going to be able to make some sort of defense if you want. This was something that Lenny had talked about before. Oh, look at this. They go out this way. Man, this is going to give you so many different poses. Now, I don't have the Vulture or the Marvel Legends Falcon. So let me know if it's something similar to this. I know I've seen them do some stuff like this. So I'm wondering how similar it is. I know it's not the same. They can't cross over any of the parts. All right. Then we have his bird mask. And I gotta say, it's nice and pliable. How it sits on his head is a whole nother story. Hopefully it fits well. But it is soft, just like their helmets. And look at all the detail on the feathers. So that looks awesome. I love the gold eye with the black pupil just right there. The nose, and there's so much paint on this. So you have the gray around his nose, and then you actually have the beak. the feathers that I talked about, different colors. It's just everything. Man, this thing is awesome looking. All right, so here we have our Falcon, not Falcon, our Raptor. All right, so he really does give you Nightwing vibes. So if you're a customizer and you're like, hey, I need a Nightwing, you might be able to do some work with this. He has a somewhat of a, I wouldn't call it a mohawk, and a lot of people kind of referring to it as a mullet. It's not. He has long hair that's all pulled back and it's shaven down the side. All right. So I think that looks good. I love the fact that you can see how long the strands are. It really says a lot with the character, and that you can tell that he has shaved on the side. His eyes look to be looking straight there. He has the mask, and then it almost looks like he's supposed to have silver eyebrows, but I think it's just the top of the mask. And probably little talons up there. That's kind of what I'm feeling. But his nose looks good. His lips look good there. Then we're going to come down. He has the same similar color that we've already seen and what the original kind of had. Lots of tattoos. So I'm assuming this guy is so ingrained in his love for his birds that he's tattooed this stuff on to make it kind of look close. A little piece, so we can take this all off if need be. Just be careful with this. I did hear someone else talk about this. Just be careful that you don't pull this apart, because you could easily snap this. Not too much you can do once you do that. New gloves that I don't know how you're going to be able to really reuse this. Looks like here's where you're going to be able to put his general ledger. I'm not sure what the red is for. I wonder if that is something to help Raptor. I think it's a Raptor. I know he's called Raptor, but just enough that maybe it draws them. I'm not sure. He's got a couple trigger fingers. He's got the big bird on his belt buckle. That is obnoxiously big. Holster for his pistol. Couple pouches that are sitting right here. And this is all new, so I would assume we'll see this more often. I don't think that I've seen this. All these different pouches that you can, going to be able to use on all the different figures. Again, if you're a customizer, I think this is great because it just adds to a figure that you might be making. Then you have his boots, and you have the feathers that are kind of sticking up. So these are new molded boots. I haven't seen anything like this. I'm not really sure how you reuse it. And all the way down to the top where they're little bird feet. And that's one of the things that I noticed when I had grabbed this guy. So let's compare these two quickly. So also, I'll show you, here's his original bird, broken feet. I knew I had him. I had to go look for him. All right. Again, you don't really notice, but look at the eyes look really good there. I think it might have, oh, his beak, I don't think his beak is broken. But you look at the color, and they did a fairly good job of making it similar. He only has one, paint across the back, across the top. On the bottom is where you see it faded, and you have the same thing, real dark on the top, and then on the bottom, he's this way. So if they ever did a retro one, maybe they would reuse Freedom's buck to create a bird that can open up like this and do what he was. All right, so let's compare these two. Now, we have the awful, I hate this thing so much. I hated this figure as a kid. I can't say I like him anymore. All right, so his hand just kind of went right through here. All right, so you're looking at all of this here. Wow, so he has a hook and rope. So that's clearly how he's supposed to glide. I've never looked at this that closely. You can see the feathers. All right, so if we look at this here, they make it look similar, but it's obviously not the same. All right, so you just have this rope and this hook, and then you look at the colors, and they do match fairly well. And then looking at the headdress that he has, He just has some giant eyes, still has the beak, but has the feathers all the way down. And so look, here it is. This is the type of stuff that Classified is doing. You look at his hair right there, all right? The hair is what imitates the actual headdress. This is really big up top, and it goes back like it'd be long hair. That is what he's imitating here. All right? On this, they keep it the same other than, oh, look at it. It is darker down the middle there. So they do something very similar, but rather than making it stick up and look kind of awkward, that's what this actual head is. So you are really imitating that again. But you have the nice eyes that kind of stick out. And again, it's just a bird head. All right. We gotta get rid of this because we already looked at this thing. I can't reiterate how bad this is. But while you're watching me do this, take a second, hit that like button if you don't mind. It does help the algorithm. All right. So he has the same medallion that runs across, and he's wearing the same outfit. So rather than having these glider wings with a hook on it, he actually has propulsion wings. All right. Color is a little bit different. They didn't do black on the back, but look, you can tell that it's the same. Like you could tell what they did in the back. So when you look at him without that headdress on, all right, and he has the pauldrons that come over. The same thing here. They just made it go over, which makes sense. They gave him tattoos, which I do like. The original one also had a big bird belt. Again, things I never noticed before. He has the pistol on the same side, but his holster is up here. Now they gave him a couple pouches. Nothing on these ones. You have the feathers coming out of the boots here. I never noticed that. You look at the boots, again, different colors, but I never noticed that they had 3 little claws on the O-ring, and they redid that. So I think that they did a wonderful job of classifying this figure up. I don't think a lot of people look at that too much and realize what they're doing. Oh, we got the feathers here coming out of his gloves. These are just little things that until you start looking at them both, you don't even realize. And I know I sure the hell didn't. All right. All little details that is actually in O-rings. I think it's wonderful. So how does the headdress set? Well, it looks pretty good. It sets good. I think it's going to, it doesn't even fall off. I was expecting it just to fall off like Major Blood's helmet. I know a lot of people don't have Major Blood. Wonderful figure. There are some issues with that helmet staying on or the missiles. All right, so that looks good setting right there. And take this. Now, here we have the peg hole goes all the way into his buck. So it goes through this. And sometimes when there's something like this, the overlay, it actually helps out because it puts tension on it to hold this thing on. And I hope it does because this is something you don't really want. If you want to hang it from a wall or from a ceiling, he's going to fit. Well, I guess if you shake him, he'll eventually fall. You're going to want to use some sticky tack to hold it on. I wish they would have done what they did with the other guy. Again, I apologize for not thinking of what his name is. All right. We got to move this camera a little bit because you can't see everything because he is really that big here. All right, so we can extend the wings all the way out like this. And he does stand up. They're very lightweight. This whole figure like this weighs less than our big giant road pig that's sitting right there, all right? So we'll have him like this. Let's see here. We can close these wings. Not really sure what the best way. I think once you do this, he's going to want to fall back. So you're going to want to find a way to keep him. He's going to take up a lot of space in your display depending on how you want to do this. All right. So we have this here. All right, Lenny. They showed the pictures of him covering up, and it's nice to say that this is really easy to do. So he's guarding himself. We saw the Winter Falcon do this in the MCU. I think this is awesome. All right. How well does General Ledger? He just kind of pops right on there. Maybe he pops right on there. All right. So you just have to twist and then he can see him talking to his trusty bird. Probably want to use it on this hand, to be 100% honest, because the head is cocked looking at him the other way. Get the pistol. And how well can the pistol actually hold on? You know what I noticed? That he has a knife and I don't see him having a sheath. Oh, the knife actually goes right there. I thought it was another pouch. No, I didn't go over his articulation. I got too ahead of myself here. So let's go over his articulation really quick. Where his head goes up, not at all. That's disappointing. I really wish it did. His head doesn't really move at all. Like, he can't really move up or down. I think that's a huge miss because he's flying. All right. Does move side to side. It is on a neck joint and the head joint, but unfortunately, it doesn't move up and down. Like, that's disappointing. All right. We get his T-pose, bicep swivel, double pinless joints, your wrists that are going to swivel. He has, okay, so these are actual wrists. You can't pull this off, all right? He actually has wrist articulation. And again, this is right out of the box here, all right? So, ab crunch, which you can go down all the way. You can go back. Of course, once you have this thing on it, he's not going to be able to go back like this. He can look side to side. There's his Jean-Claude Van Damme drop down hips. Pinless double knees. Here's the boot cut. The ankle rockers. We've already seen that he can stand, so. All right. Kind of jumped ahead. I got a little too excited. I have been excited for this figure. Again, Classified has done it again, making a figure that I really could not have cared less about. And I had a feeling they were going to go with this. And again, it's not like I'm like, oh, wow, you knew this. No, it wasn't that hard to really figure out. I don't think I was breaking any news or doing anything other people couldn't do. So able to get him in here. All right, you got his pistol. Let's put that in there. Throw the knife right down there. And I did totally miss that. So knife just sits right there. I think that actually looks pretty good. It sticks out. He doesn't have a knife over here, does he? Nope. But he does have the drop down, which I know people would love that. As for the little talons here, I have seen people kind of struggle with this. This might have been something where, it's really hard to get them on all the way. I can't see myself really ever using this. I think you'd really have to stretch this out or cut it. And if you cut it, I don't know what you're going to do. Now, here's what really doesn't make a lot of sense, is they easily could have modified this to plug right in here. And then you have talons or claws that stick off. They pop right down, and you wouldn't have this. But this is pretty much useless. Their hands are just too big. So unless you modify the hand or modify this, I don't know how you're going to get that to work. All right. So we're going to throw this bad boy on here. All right. He's got his pistol. He needs his helmet to protect himself. And now you have Joe's kind of shooting at him. And look at that. He is using it as protection. Of course, I would say my exact same thing with my complaint with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Was that the movie? No, that's the TV show. I know with Falcon, I was like, why didn't they just shoot at his feet? He has no protection. But I said the same thing about Captain America. All right, Hasbro Flight Stand. If you don't have these, absolutely wonderful. 3 for $15, especially if you're a Pulse member. I've done a video on how to make your trouble bubble look like it's flying. We're going to be getting more figures. We should be getting some more figures that look like they're flying. You know, we have the jetpacks. I would assume eventually Cobra will probably have jetpacks. And then we have a PulseCon exclusive. All right. So, this here, we can do all kinds of poses with it. I guess he could have this guy up. He's in the air. This guy's kind of blind. I don't know why this guy would need to be on his... Why he needs to be on his hand if he's in the air flying, but there you go. Let's move this up. So now you can see you have a nice flight stand that gives them that illusion of flying. We can do all kinds of stuff. Now, quickly, you'll see there's some afterburners up there. I don't know if they're afterburners. They're actually in the front. But I don't see any like weaponry on this. So in all actuality, like the only weapons he seems to have, unless if those are supposed to be like laser guns or laser blasters, I guess they could be anything you want them to be. They're tampoed on there. I don't think they are because there's so much orange. It would have been nice if they put maybe a gun right down the middle, or maybe 2 small guns on the side. Because now all he's doing is he has a pistol. With all that said, I have so many guns, I'll find a weapon for him. But anyway, there you go. That is your Raptor and General Ledger, and I think this figure is awesome, awesome looking. And I'm going to try and stand him up. I'm probably going to regret it, and you guys are going to be like, I'm regretting it too that you're going on for this long about him. But he does stand. There you go. All right, so there you go. That is our Raptor and General Ledger. And I have to say, this figure is awesome. And this makes me want to go out and get that the Raptor, the Vulture. A lot of people wanted to use that Vulture to make a figure like this. Falcon from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just think they look awesome all lined up together. But that's the idea that they did. I had a feeling that's what they were going to do. Again, I had no inside knowledge. It just only made sense. But just the way that you can... I'm so glad that they made these wings articulated. When you wonder where the budget is with this last wave, well, it's here and it's right there. All right. Not to mention, I guess, you know, when you really think about it, Storm Shadow's all new, Alpine's new, and the Iron Grenadier is going to be new too. So if you like this figure, $35. He is available on Amazon right now. I will post links down in the description where you can get this. I got him from Amazon. Technically, I should have got him from CMD store earlier, but they took their sweet old time not shipping it. So now I have another one that's supposed to arrive here today that, well, I took the gamble and paid a little bit more to try and get it early, and I failed. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Before we do, you know what to do. You stayed this long. You've enjoyed seeing this guy in this review. Take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified when I drop another G.I. Joe figure, even if he looks more like a Marvel Legends figure in many, many, many ways. Now I'm out of here. Please don't go anywhere. Stay right here and check out the Road Pig video, and down here will be the playlist of all the classified videos that I've done. Take care.